Hello, hello, and more hello. I was having a little bit of issue. My sound wasn't working, and I was like, oh my God. And of course, it was time to start, right? Of course, and no sound. Anyway, let me put this out of the way. But the sound is back. I am here. I hope you can hear me clearly. I had to come up out of my kitchen. It is too hot in the kitchen today. So I'm here in my living room, and yeah, it is a little more air coming through, but boy, it's hot. It is really hot right now. Anyway, it is my great pleasure to bring you the astrology today for the first half of July 2025. I would be normally for the first week of the month doing the elemental forecast, but I did that early in the week. I did that on Wednesday. And I needed to do that because there is so much astrological aspects and impact happening right now. I didn't want to wait another week before you had access to it. So I'm very early in when I usually do the astrology report, but I think it's important and very important for you. And I hope that it will be of great service and helpful to you. And hey, Lori, I was thinking about you all the other day. I got to call you. She says, I can hear you just fine. Good to see you. Great. Thank you for that feedback because, you know, I have no idea unless somebody tells me. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Yeah, there is a lot going on, some big stuff. So let me jump in first, giving you the quote for the month of July from both Astro Butterfly and a new astrologer I found named Tamari Atter. Astro Butterfly says July 2025 is marked by one of the most important transits of the year. Dare to say the decade, Uranus's ingress into Gemini. July 2025 is also when several planets go retrograde, marking a turning point for all of us, personally and collectively. This is a time to reflect on what we've seen emerging, the glimpse of what's possible, and where we truly are at this point in our lives. And then Tamari says July 2025 is a month of bold awakenings and powerful rewrites. The universe is shaking up how we communicate and express ourselves, urging us to embrace innovation while staying grounded in truth. Amen to that. July is a time to align ambition with authenticity. Stay open, speak your truth, and let the energy in July guide you toward a more expressive, liberated version of yourself. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. Very, very promising, especially for the time. Hey, Q, there's Juanita checking in. Wonderful. Yeah, it's some powerful stuff going on. I always want to remind you until this happens in February that we are in what's called the balsamic phase of Saturn and Neptune conjoining, being at 0 degrees in the sign of Aries. And this is definitely seen as astrologers as a very, very significant alignment. It emphasizes that we're closing cycles, leaving the past behind, and learning to navigate transitions and uncertainty with faith as we prepare to enter this next chapter of our lives. And so if anybody is thinking that you're not in a new chapter, you're not in a whole new world, yeah, we are. And as I always say, there's no going back. So again, this is just a great reminder that this energy is working. It's working for all of us. Also, we're still in Cancer season at this point. So happy birthday to all the Cancerians out there. And you know, Jupiter is locked into your sign for a year. So there's a lot of expansion going on. And for us collectively, expansion in regards to our emotional intelligence, our ability and desire to nurture, to be nurtured, to have nurturing. Also, family becomes very important, more important than ever, and that can be blood related or not. But this whole notion of us turning to each other, which very much is what the age of Aquarius is calling for. It's about moving from the me into the we, having to really be considerate of others. And something new I want to start doing because of how I'm realizing, there's these impact days every month. And just to point them out to you so that you're more conscious. And what do I mean by impact? I mean that these are the times when the planets are aspecting in such a way that that energy can really, really be felt. For example, the full moon and the new moon, and the new moon is really, it's new how impactful it has become over these last several years, but definitely the full moon, we pay attention to that. And so there's these other aspects that go on, like when there is a conjunction, when there's a day when you have 2 or 3 squares all at the same time. Also days when you have like 2 or 3 sextiles or trines, flow energy at the same time. When something goes retrograde, that's an impact day, like when Mercury goes retrograde, and some other types of cosmic things that can go on. So for July, I just wanted to make you aware that July 4th, very impactful, as we know, but definitely very much so cosmologically. The 7th, which is when Uranus goes into Taurus, the 10th, the 12th, and that's for the first half of the month. And then in the second half, we get on the 17th, that's when Mercury retrograde occurs. Then it'll be the 22nd, the 24th, the 30th, and the 31st. So there are these 9 days in July that will be very impactful for us. So just a heads up with that. So let's get into it. Let's start with July 3rd, because this is not an astrological thing, but it definitely is a cosmic thing that I want you to be aware of. And that is that we have this rare celestial visitor from beyond our solar system. And it got discovered on July 2nd. Astronomers calling it 31 Atlas. And this is like the 3rd known interstellar object ever detected. First we had Oumuamua, and then we had Borisov. So there's something going on when other galaxies are sending us this energy. Because remember, everything is about energy. It's all energetic. And I like to think that when we get something from another galaxy, something interstellar, it's bringing us energies we need so that we can really grow in our consciousness and our awareness and really understand what we're really here for, which is, it's all about love. Yeah. So just wanted you to be aware that that happened on the 3rd. And then on the 4th of July, Independence Day, quote unquote, in the United States, we had 3 powerful aspects. The first one is a conjunction between Venus and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And this is one of the last conjunctions Uranus does before it goes into Gemini. This aspect sparks sudden changes or breakthroughs in love, beauty, and finances. You can expect the unexpected because this is a time when relationship dynamics may shift, values get redefined, or creative inspiration strikes like lightning. Venus in Taurus is stable and loyal, but Uranus governs freedom. If you have the sudden urge to break free from a partnership or you're feeling rebellious, give yourself a few days before you make any permanent changes or decisions. On the flip side, this energy is great for stepping outside of your comfort zone and bringing excitement to a relationship. So again, really positive aspect there, a lot of power to it. And a little bit more that I found about it from Astro Butterfly. She says on July 3rd to 4th, just before moving into Gemini, Venus and Uranus meet in the last degree of Taurus. With Venus and Uranus, the proverbial daughter and father, meeting for one last time in 29 degrees Taurus, we will gain important insights into our identity and our place in the world. Yes. And I know all of you have probably been feeling that, kind of questioning, who am I? Where am I? Why am I? Take some time to reflect and make a list of, she says, what you genuinely enjoy doing, what feels effortless and pleasurable to you. Really, really important. And that's the Venus energy. And your higher calling, your larger mission in life. What, if pursued, could bring you authentic freedom and personal sovereignty? That's Uranus. And then she asks, how are these two things linked? Yeah. And this is an energetic that's going on, and you'll hear in some of the other aspects where we're really being asked to integrate what's on the ground with what is in the higher realms. Yeah. So that too is another part of the age of Aquarius that we are experiencing. So yeah, really powerful stuff. So July 4th, real liberation is happening. Also on that day, we had Venus entering Gemini. Now, Gemini is a Mercury sign. So of course, communication in relationships, Venus, is a central theme of this transit. When Venus is in Gemini, we find it easier to articulate our feelings. Of course, feelings are there to be felt, but knowing how to label and put them into words can help us understand ourselves and others from a more objective lens rather than judgmental. In this way, we can rewire outdated relating patterns, diffuse resentment, and find a new sense of intimacy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And some of you may have been noticing that going on where you're kind of feeling, that you want to share and express love and gratitude and understanding and compassion with people. There's Juanita giving a good laugh. That was something I had said before. But this is a good thing to be smiling about. Very good. This is like emotional intelligence breaking through. Absolutely. Now, also on the 4th, we have Neptune going retrograde in Aries, and it'll be retrograde until December the 10th. And during this retrograde, for all you Pisces out there like me, in September, it's going to dance back into our sign for a minute, just to help us remember, for I think it was like 14 years or 8 years that we had it in our sign. Did you really learn what you needed to learn? Are you really clear that you're done? It'll be that. And as it says here, well, while we might dream of grand victories and daring adventures, Neptune going retrograde calls us back to reality. Take this time to look before you leap and think carefully before taking action. This retrograde begins a 5-month inward journey of spiritual refinement and recalibration. This retrograde invites us to examine where we may be overly idealistic or impulsive in our vision and actions. It's a time to reconnect with our inner fire, but without burning out. Pay attention to dreams and intuitive nudges. They could hold the key to realignment. Yeah. And of course, this is a big deal that Neptune went into Aries and then, boom, it's gone retrograde so that we get even more of what this is about. Yeah. So think about your 4th of July, what's going on, what you're feeling. If you were kind of sleepy during that day, it makes sense because this is a lot of big energy that came through. Absolutely. So now today, July 6th, we have just one, and it is a sextile, which is a flow energy. This is Venus in Gemini, sextiling Saturn. I should have put there retrograde in Aries. Get ready to feel I'm sorry, it hadn't gone retrograde yet. I'm good. Get ready to feel the love today, as this committed aspect encourages us to look for companionship and feel loved. This is not a one-night stand, and that's for you youngins out there. But it's also too about, just not companionship in a physical way. It's also about companionship in a spiritual and inner way. This is about calling us to really love ourselves, to really do the self-love and the unconditional self-love. Yeah. So really, really powerful energies today. I was talking with somebody yesterday that reached out to me for help, and I did the little exercise I do with everybody. Tell me what you're feeling, thinking, and believing about yourself right now. And of course, it wasn't feeling good. It wasn't loving oneself. And it's important to know that we need help getting that really pushed up, because it's so easy to feel that that's natural. And guess what? It's not. It's not. We're supposed to be feeling good and appreciating and valuing ourselves. That's what's natural. That's what's natural. But of course, we know we can get blocked. But this energy today can come and just really help us, feel where that hole is. And, we've got to fill it ourselves first before we really can get support from others. Yeah. Absolutely. So next we have, oh, that's right, there are two today. I apologize. I thought it was only one. We have Venus and Gemini sextiling Neptune, which is retrograde in Aries. Saturn isn't yet, but this one is. And this aspect serves as a muse, providing us with the creative energy and imagination needed to produce amazing art. Follow your passion today. It could lead to something truly beautiful. Isn't that just lovely? Just lovely, lovely energy. So again, that energy of loving ourselves, going in. And to me, each one of us is a work of art. And when you understand that, you realize that, oh, I can really shape, I can form, I can recreate my life to be a work of art, to be beautiful. Absolutely. Now, Monday, drum roll. This is the big aspect, as Astro Butterfly said, even of the decade. Yeah, this is Uranus entering Gemini. Now, although it will only be here for a few months this year, we are witnessing the beginning of a new era this summer. With the planet of freedom and originality in this adaptable air sign, expect sudden changes that could lead to revolutions and revelations. A major energetic shift arrives on July 7 as Uranus moves into Gemini for the first time in over 70 years, folks. This ingress begins on an 8-year cycle of innovation and revolution in areas ruled by Gemini, which is communication, technology, education, transportation, and social networks. Expect rapid advancements in AI, digital platforms, aviation, and how we relate through information and creative rebellion. So until 2033, yeah, we will have this energy around, informing us, shaping us, growing us. To all you Geminis out there, whoop, 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 get ready, get ready. This is your time. And just like those of you who are Taurus, you started out one way 8 years ago, and today, look at where you are. Look at what's going on. Yeah, so it's a powerful, powerful sign to have in your sign. Now, Uranus enters Gemini. When Uranus changes signs, what used to feel urgent and defining for the past 7 years begins to lose its grip as new themes suddenly take all our focus and energy. On a personal level, Uranus and Gemini challenges us to think differently, speak boldly, and question the narratives we've inherited. This is a time for mental liberation and creative rebellion. Uranus's ingresses start with a bang. Unlike other outer planets like Neptune, which operate in mysterious ways, Uranus doesn't have time for gentle transitions. It delivers shocks, breakthroughs, and wake-up calls. When Uranus entered Aries in 2011, we had Fukushima in Japan and the Arab Spring. Uranus and Taurus in 2018 brought us the crypto boom and disruptions to financial and environmental systems. So again, just some examples of how this energy is moving and how it's flown in the past. And yeah, get ready. We are going to see some shakeups happening for sure. And, that's part of the time that we are in, part of the time that we're living in, and we need these shakeups, obviously. We need them. Moving on, Uranus in Gemini will most likely reshape the landscape of artificial intelligence and digital communication. But as the saying goes with Uranus, expect the unexpected. There may be paradigm shifts related to the Gemini archetype, language, mobility, networks, and the way we process and share information that catches us off guard and demand changes to help us find greater freedom and autonomy. Yeah. Uranus and Gemini, together with Pluto and Aquarius, will exasperate the tendency to live in the head and detach from the body. During the upcoming years, we will be challenged to stay grounded in our physicality, inhabit the present moment, and build routines that support our nervous system. Yeah. And I'm sure, like me, there's many of you out there already in that process. Yeah. Like really feeling how the nervous system is just being pushed all over the place. Also, rewiring's going on. But it's so important to say, okay, what do I need to do so that I am able to access my equanimity, my calmness, my inner peace? Absolutely important. Yeah. I think I got one more slide. Okay. So on the same day tomorrow, we get Venus in Gemini trining Pluto, which is retrograde in Aquarius. Now, it's a flow energy. So this is a beautiful moment to form soul level bonds, uncover hidden talents, or experience transformative insights through dialogue and artistic expression. Financial opportunities or major realizations around self-worth may also surface. Don't be afraid to go deep. Yeah. Yeah, really, really cool stuff right there. Juanita says, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, on Thursday, July 10th, another impact day, we get our full moon in the sign of Capricorn. And I like this piece that I found, wanted to share with you, which is just a reminder about the full moon meaning in astrology. These powerful lunations symbolize the completion, accumulation, and the celebration of a job well done. A goal long yearned for, now nothing but in the very recent past. You can finally sit on your metaphorical laurels, look around at what you have done, take that deep breath, and rest a little. You deserve it. Full moons are not the time to start new things or worry much about what comes next. Instead, it's about being present and focused on the achievement you have accomplished. You know, some of the astrologers are talking about, okay, this is a good time to get this started. Now, I really think this is what a full moon is about, because it is so powerful. especially on the fluids in our bodies, right? Because it's controlling the tides, and we're made of water, you know. And so I feel like it's like lulling us to just chill out, be calm, be still. Give yourself that pat on the back, validate yourself, because by the time the new moon rolls around, that's when you'll be ready to say, okay, here's my intention. This is what I want to do. Go, you know. And also with the full moons, you can think about what was going on for you with the full moon that happened last year in Capricorn. And I think we had 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And which is highly unusual. But think about that. Where were you at last year? Like, I can remember where I was at last year, and I was not in a restful state. This year, I plan to be very much in a restful state. So here's some more about this Capricorn moon for you. This lunation is called the buck moon in native tradition. Spiritually, you can think of the buck's antlers as a metaphor for harnessing your full potential, as its energy symbolizes our own patterns of shedding past layers of ourselves to become a new version of ourselves. And I love it. I always love the buck moon. I think it's so powerful. So this is a positive vibes moon. This is a positive results-oriented full moon sextiling Pisces in the North Node, trine Mars in Virgo, and square Aryan Chiron, meaning that Chiron is in Aries right now. Yeah. And let me share this from Q. She says, full moon, chill out, be calm, be still. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, information I found said, get ready to take a bow today as the full moon shines in the earthy, dependable Capricorn. The hard work we put in over the past several months is about to pay off, bringing strong possibilities for rewards, achievements, and praise. And again, this doesn't have to happen in a public way. You know, you're on stage getting an award. No, this is really about, you know, with your inner circle, with people around you, or the people that you connect with, you know, that you'll get to see the fruits of your labor, is what this is saying. Also about this full moon, release and embrace. We are being called to notice what is blocking us from our true potential and the ability to manifest, as well as to notice where we need to embrace taking more responsibility for our lives. It is a good moon for acknowledging completions, releasing limitations, and embracing a new vision. Fears that are related to your attachment to concrete beliefs and physical structures in your life may surface at this time. It is important not to get distracted by them, but rather to focus on the potential for growth, transformation, and new perceptions. And that's from Lena Stevens of the Power Path. Now, here's about the aspects to the moon. The first one is a sextile to the North Node. The Capricorn full moon on July 10th will be in a harmonious sextile aspect with the North Node in Pisces. This suggests a supportive energy that encourages alignment between personal feelings and one's life purpose. The North Node in Pisces indicates a focus on spiritual growth, intuition, compassion, and surrendering to something greater than oneself. It's a time to embrace your dreams and intuitive insights. This alignment encourages a shift in perspective. Instead of feeling like your practical goals are at odds with your spiritual journey, you can find ways to integrate them. It's a chance to redefine success on your own terms, one that aligns with your soul's calling. Absolutely. Yeah. And Brandy, she's saying, my North Node is in Pisces. Yeah, mine is too. No, it's not. My North Node is in Pisces. I'm Pisces, so right now I'm experiencing the North Node. But yeah, if your birth sign is North Node in Pisces, yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful. There's a lot of big opening up that you're doing. So how wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that message of the sextile. Next, it's square Chiron. Now, Chiron has been in Aries since February 2019. Under the guidance of Chiron and Aries, we have been exploring our wounds in relation to selfhood, independence, impulsivity, physical activity, masculinity, and self-assertion. Things like trauma and other difficult life experiences can make it hard to mentally and emotionally separate what happened in the past from what is happening now. With the square aspect to this lunation, when we get disrupted or triggered, it's important to remember that our trauma mind can deceive us. Even when things are going well, we may feel like they are not. Get support if you find yourself in confusion or fear. And really, really important there because, again, it's a good flow energy with the moon, but a lot of times when we do get still, yeah, that's when stuff comes out. So what this is saying is don't go into reaction to your trigger or disruption, because that trauma mind, or what I call the pain body, it wants you, right? It wants you to feel bad. It wants you to be cray-cray. So this is saying, take a pause. Again, back to the stillness. Stay in the stillness. Just take a pause. But again, if it is so disruptive, if you find yourself not functioning, reach out for help. Absolutely. Don't stay stuck in it. And then the third aspect is a trine to Mars in Virgo. Mars in Virgo, Capricorn's fellow Earth sign, offers a lot of good opportunities and gifts, blessings in uniting practical emotions, which is Capricorn, with efficient, articulate, and critical action. That's Virgo. Both of these earth signs are very pragmatic and practical. So it might be an emotional release or accumulation around something connected to routine or structure. Those daily foundations for health and wellness that you really don't think much of, like sleep, exercise, eating, showering, brushing your teeth, etc., that hold up the rest of your day and week. Those may be where the opportunities are coming. And I just love that because, again, all of those things, are so earthbound. They are the things that we really do need to do in order to take care of ourselves and stay, able to be here, to do this important work, to be grown and stretched in the way that we're being. Yeah, absolutely. And then my final message for you about this full moon coming up on the 10th. I just love this. I just love, her name is Jourdain Moret, putting into words things that I have been feeling. She says, this lunation is a space to realign your vision, reorient to inner authority, and take up more space as the sacred architect of your life. A space to release inherited narratives surrounding success, responsibility, time, and work, so that you may orient towards your true relationship with these spaces. For the world is filled with ideas of who we should be, what our lives need to look like, and what success means. Much of it inherited pain, much of it stemming from fear, much of it running through generation after generation, stored within the body and psyche, waiting to be transmuted into something new. We are being called to heal generational patterns around responsibility, success, duty, and commitment. We are creating the space for a new reality to emerge through us, a new reality of devotion, impact, fulfillment, and sacred building. Isn't that delicious? Sacred building. Together, we are creating a new narrative. Together, we are creating a new lived reality where success and soul weave together, and responsibility is rooted in sacred choice. Wow. Wow. Just let that marinate for a minute, folks. I mean, it's just like, it's so there. I've read this like 4 times. I'm going to read it 10 more times because she's just capturing what I feel this age of Aquarius energy. It's really, really bringing to us that we have to pull ourselves out of the past belief systems, especially around success, and really create a new reality as to what that means. Yeah. Just beautiful. So moving on that same day of the full moon, we get Juno going direct in Scorpio. And right now, I think we've got like 3 of the asteroids in the sign of, no, wait, it's in Aries. It's in Aries. It's not Scorpio, but Juno's the one in Scorpio. Forget what I just said, but I do want to emphasize that because there's another asteroid. Anyway, Juno, named after the queen of ancient Roman gods and representing commitment in relationships, Juno is a large asteroid in the asteroid belt and the 3rd asteroid discovered, which was in 1804. Juno in astrology can illuminate new insights into just how you thrive in long-term commitments and relationships. After months of jealousy and control, we can finally see the light as the asteroid of commitment moves forward in intense Scorpio. Now is the time to rebuild trust in your relationships by seeking the truth. And of course, jealousy to me is one of the great evolutionary teachers that shows up for us in relationship, because jealousy is really trying to make somebody else responsible for you not being fulfilled, for you not being satisfied, for you not feeling like you are enough. And so that's why it's such a powerful evolutionary teacher, because when you feel like you are enough, when you are fulfilled, when you are satisfied, when you take responsibility and self-master, you don't go into jealousy. You have nothing to be jealous about. Yeah. So hopefully, all of us over these last months when Juno's been in Scorpio have been really looking at that, seeing how that is pulling on us, whether it's something we're doing with others or whether it's something being done to us. It works both ways. So really powerful aspect that is. And Vesta. I wanted to point out, this is the one I was thinking about. So Vesta's also in Scorpio. So we've got these asteroids in Scorpio. And this was on June 14th that she went direct. So really important that we've got 2 of these really powerful asteroids going direct. Vesta's with the Vestal Virgins, and again, it's a fire within. It definitely is related to, family, intimate partners, and all of the emotions that come up with that. But again, it is also designed to help us heal those wounds. So I just wanted to say, this is big energy that is going on. Then let's move to next Saturday, the 12th. And here we have Saturn going retrograde in Aries. First it was Neptune's turn, now it's Saturn's turn. And it'll be retrograde until November the 28th. And so again, for you Pisces out there, yes, it is going to come visit us again during the fall. But just a few weeks after entering Aries, Saturn stations retrograde in the sign of the warrior, continuing to travel side by side with Neptune. Saturn's shift of motion is an opportunity to slow down and tune in. Rather than continuing in move forward and act on autopilot, we are asked to spend more time in reflection and make sure we know where we are going. Exactly, because there's so much new stuff going on, it's really hard to know. So this is saying you're going to have time to slow down and get aware. The message will come to you about where you're really going. Now, while retrograde, Saturn invites us to get clear about what we aspire to build and what responsibilities we're willing to take. During Saturn's retrograde journey, and especially while Saturn travels back through Pisces, we may face delays or encounter resistance if we try to keep pushing forward. The invitation for us is to wrap up unresolved business and make sure we are acting in alignment with our true values. Yeah, absolutely. So again, both Neptune and Saturn by this date will be retrograde, working on us. Now, to close out, I want to promote this wonderful book. Right now, it's in an ebook format, but it will be in hardcover hopefully by August the 1st, Malene said. But this book, and it's specifically for women, I see it so aligned with the annual theme for Wisdom Walkers this year, which is unconditional love as the treasure of self-mastery. And this is a book taking you through that process around it. As it says here, a powerful guide for every woman who's longed to know herself at a deeper level through 8 transformative reclamations, like reclaiming your power, reclaiming your authenticity. This book helps you cultivate inner strength while managing personal and spiritual integrity, guiding you down a road to self-discovery, self-reclamation, and self-love. Here's a little bit about Malene. Malene is also the author of a children's book for women and girls. She was in her former life a middle school teacher, a high school teacher, a college professor, and a conflict management facilitator and coach, among other roles. She's also loves to travel. She has been in Mexico. She's swam in Mexico's beautiful cenotes. She's put her pedal to the metal while four-wheeling in the Moroccan desert. She's just this really, really powerful woman. And she also says that she's traversed the contours of loss and trauma that some call life, deep enough to drown in it. She's a Reiki master. She does Chinese medicine, acupuncture, brain gym. She's just this jack of all trades when it comes to, helping herself and other people to grow and heal. And so I encourage you to check this out. You can get it through Amazon, but it's also available directly from her website, which is www.reclaimthesacredself.com. And I know Malene through my relationship with Queen Adara, and she's the one who I promote her I think it's twice monthly. It's just church, a healing church, non-denominational that she does. And so Malene's been a mentee of Adara, and that's how I came across her. So just wanted to share that. Hope that can be helpful, especially for the times that we are living in. Yeah, because it ain't no joke, folks, right? It ain't no joke. And also, of course, here's my book still available. And I know I've been saying this for years, but I really mean it. I am working on an audio version of this, and I'm also going to put it on YouTube, because that's a neat way for people to access it. Somebody did that with my teacher Maladoma's book, one of his books, one of the shorter ones. And it's just lovely. And especially for people that don't have time to pick up a book or their job doesn't allow that, I think the Audible is a great way to go. So, my darlings, there you have it. The astrology for the first half of July. I will be back next week with the second half of the astrology. And because I do want July, most of July, to be a downtime for me, to be my vacation time from doing the videos. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sharing in the chat. And may you continue to be blessed in your work on yourself. Blessings to your family. May you just really, really remember. Oh, thank you, Brandy. She says, thank you. This was needed and so relevant. Ashe, I appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much. But do remember, darlings, that there really is a God, and everything that's going on has great purpose. Thank you, Q. And even though they may seem like things we need to despair about, don't, because God can move mountains. God can change things on a dime. I've lived that. I know it can happen. So keep the faith, keep up the hope, keep your vibration raised, do things that help and support that. And we're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. The planets never lie. Be well, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now. I miss you too, Monkey Linda Turner. Love you. Thanks for reaching out.